Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem. Today's learning is dedicated by Dr. Menachem Fuchs on the yard side of his father, Rabbi Yehuda ben Yishai Halevi V'Gan Eden Teimnu Chasai. I want to speak out two halachos. First, I want to learn a short siman with you in Shulchan Aruch, siman Taf Chaf Aleph. In the Shoneh Halachos, he also he cites this siman Taf Chaf Aleph. This is on page Taf Yud Aleph. We know that of all the karbanos, we've mentioned this many times, the most important is the Parshas Hatamid. So if somebody has a limited time, at the very minimum, one should say the Parshas Hatamid. That's the Shulchan Aruch Harav says it's basically an obligation, and it's a very important carbon. In fact, the Bir Halacha even indicates that women are supposed to say the Parshas Hatamid. Rabbi Yashav also in a tshuva writes that women should say the Parshas Hatamid. It's the most important of all the karbanos. And I was not aware of this halacha. I've seen it, but I did not remember it. I saw it last night again, so this morning I was able to be mekayim it, and that is how to say the Parshas Hatamid on Rosh Chodesh. Namely, the Reb Chaim brings here, this is the lashon of the Mechaber, Noihagin ba'Ashkenaz, sha'imrim Parshas uvrashei chodshechem shachris achar Parshas Hatamid. The minhag in Ashkenaz is that after you say the Tamid, you say the Pesukim uvrashei chodshechem. Now I looked in the Siddur this morning because I figured I saw it last night. Let me do it. I didn't see it there. It wasn't in the Siddur. It wasn't in Karbanos. It was.
I don't know.
So 1 second. Uvisfarad eino agin la'amra. So in Spain they don't say it. Why? Lefisha asidin likroi saisa b'sefer Torah. Because they're going to lane it. What do you need to say it for? You're going to lane it. Now it's interesting. Well, on that, in that case, maybe you don't have to say the Parshas Hatamid at all because you're going to lane it. I would ask a little bit more. What's the purpose of saying it? You're going to say it anyway in Musaf. Tfilas Musaf, you're going to say it. So, this is a very interesting halacha. In other words, what would you think the reason would be to say the words of Rashei Chodshechem? Because there's an idea, Unashalma Farim Sefasenu. Since we can't be makar of the carbon, at least say it. So in Spain they didn't do it, the Sfardim don't do it, because they're eventually going to lane it. So then why do Ashkenazim do it? I mean, how many times do you have to be makar of the carbon? So I saw, they bring down from the Machzis HaShekel. Okay, so it comes to Mishnah Berurah, and the Mishnah Berurah says, what's the reason to say Rashei Chodshechem? Kedei lefarsem shu Rosh Chodesh. In order to lefarsem that it's Rosh Chodesh. Okay, people might forget. People, if it's 1 day, maybe people didn't realize it's Rosh Chodesh. If it's 2 days, maybe people didn't know it's a 2-day Rosh Chodesh. Why do you need to be mefarsem it's Rosh Chodesh? Says the Machzis HaShekel. So nobody has any irurim on the Kiddush HaChodesh of Bezdin. Because listen, most people never saw the new moon, so maybe people are going to have a problem that it's declared Rosh Chodesh. You'll say that's very good. Back in the day, you wanted to verify that it's Rosh Chodesh. Nowadays, the Bezdin is not Mekadesh the new month. Mikamakam noyagim anu k'minhag abeisenu to say the Pesukim of Rashei Chodshechem. Now, again, why do you need to be mefarsim? You're like the Mechaber says, you're going to lane it, and I would add, you're going to say it in the Tefillah. The Aruch HaShulchan says a good reason. The reason for the minhag is to remember to say Yal V'Yavai. So this will remind you to say Yal V'Yavai. But then I was looking, they do have it in the Siddur, but they put it all the way at the end of Karbanos, after Ketores, after Rabbi Havim Masadar, after Ribono Shel Olamim, they have in dark print of Rashei Chodshechem. So then by the same token, should you say on Shabbos Uv'yom HaShabbos?
Yeah.
Should you say that on Shabbos? Is it brought down to say that on Shabbos? Where's the Mishnah Berurah Chelek Gimal? So it depends. What's the reason to say Rashei Chodshechem? If it's in order to remember to say Yal V'Yavai, is that nogeh on Shabbos? If it's in order to, in other words, what would the reason be to say it on Shabbos? Anyway, by the way, you're going to say it in davening. But on the other hand, maybe even Sfardim do it. I think Sfardim do it. But because, what's the reason they don't do it on Rosh Chodesh? Because you're going to lane it. We don't lane it on Shabbos. On the other hand, the Arizal didn't do it. Because Arizal says it's part of the Musaf. What are you saying in the Musaf? By Shachris. It's not the time to say it. But is it brought down to say these Pesukim of Rashi Chachechem? Okay, remember. So I have one question for you. What's the reason we don't lane the Parshas? What's the reason in Shachris we don't say the Parshas Hatamid? Why when we daven Shemona Esrei of Shachris do we not say the Parshas Hatamid? In Musaf we say the Korban Musaf. In Shachris, why don't we say the Parshas Hatamid? Aren't Tfilos Keneged Karbanos Tiknam? Why don't we say the Parshas Hatamid? Be it as it may, the bottom line is the Shulchan Aruch does bring down this minhag of saying Rashi Chachechem, and actually in the Siddur it is brought before Ezehu Makaiman. Okay, so that's one interesting thing I wanted to bring to your attention. Okay, that's the first ach.